are grateful to our sponsors, Kelly Stafford with Stafford Tree Service, and also Black Kow Cow Manure. If you need your trees trimmed locally, remember Stafford Tree Service at staffordtreesvc.com. And please visit Black Kow Cow Manure, that's K-O-W. Remember, both of the contact details are in the description below. Calla Lilies, beautiful. Beautiful flowers, nice green stems. Some of the varieties have a little bit of white like specks in them. Almost reminds me of the old PBS show where they took the little dots of paint and put them into the painting. This is a variety that makes a nice plant really from north, central, and south Florida. You can probably grow it in many parts of the country. If you have a real touch of frost, you may want to kind of mulch up around it to protect it from the frost. It does grow from rhizomes, and probably about every 3 to 4 years you could come in and separate these rhizomes and move them to different beds so you could have calla lilies, well, all over the landscape. They make a nice bedding plant. They don't get too tall. You can see this one's probably, what, 12, 18 inches high. So it would be something that you could have in your landscape, maybe out in front. And then you could have taller plants behind it near the home if you might wish to think of. That might be one landscape plan. I would really improve the soil. A lot of peat, a lot of organic matter, a lot of black cow, really make that improved soil. They like a pH probably anywhere from about 5.5 to 7. So it's kind of a wide range, slightly acidic to about neutral or maybe a little past neutral. I would add normally some wood chips, some organic matter. I would mulch them with some type of good organic mulch. People say, well, what about using rocks? You could, but rocks eventually, you get weeds coming up around. It's hard to weed around rocks. So I'm more of a fan of something that's breaking down and feeding the soil naturally. I think that's better. And it also isn't absorbing the heat like rocks do. Now, I know there are places for rocks. There's places for cement. There's places for walkways that are hardscapes. But this plant would lend itself to the landscape. And I would think that you'd want to fertilize it maybe every 2 to 3 months during the growing season. I might use a bloomer type fertilizer, which would be maybe a little lower in nitrogen, like a 2-10-10 or 5-10-10, something higher in phosphorus and potassium. They won't be real heavy feeders, but I would give them a little shot, especially if you're in real sandy soil. And so many of our growing areas are. Now, the calla lily has this beautiful little calla flower that we've seen before in pinks. We hadn't really seen this one in yellow. So my son said, yellow is pretty. We'll bring it in and show it to you, the audience. I think you could have it in temperate regions around the world. I would say make sure you watch the water, especially when they're first coming out. They're going to require more water. I would say that it needs probably at least 5 to 6 hours of good sun a day, and make sure that you build up that energy so that you get these pretty looking flowers coming up. The calla lily would make a nice specimen. You could have it like in this decorative container. You could have it on your deck. You could have it on your porch. If you have it on the porch, make sure it's a bright porch, that you're getting pretty good light levels. If you're growing it inside, make sure it's near that bright window so that you can build up enough energy to produce more flowers. The calla lily, as I said, it's a rhizome, so we don't see rhizomes as much as we see other types of root systems, but it's kind of like a bulb-like structure. And you can pull that apart, you can cut it with some scissors, you might get your old cutters out and use your cutters, separate them, dig the whole clump out, cut them into pieces, and then move those pieces to your next bed or your next container. And it's one that you could kind of share with your garden club, your garden group, or maybe just your neighbor. Calla lilies are one that you might want to try in your landscape because I think they add some vigor and they add some nice color to the landscape, and that's important. Remember, we're going through this world pretty quick, so enjoy those flowers, enjoy that color just as much as you can. I want to tell you till next week, we appreciate each and every one of you, and we thank you for watching.